All right. Good afternoon. I am Manny Caulk, your Fayette County Public Schools Serving Superintendent. I'd like to begin by welcoming the members of the media here in attendance this afternoon, as well as those who are watching this broadcast live on either our cable channel 197 or via live stream on our website. During these rapidly changing times, when so many of us are heeding Governor Andy Beshear's call to remain healthy at home, it is critically important that we can rely on members of the media for factual and measured information. You are essential workers who are providing a valuable public service, and we are grateful to you. While COVID-19 has dramatically changed the world around us, our core values have remained constant. Team FCPS has continued to put students first, ensure victory in our newly defined classroom, collaborate, build capacity, and hold one another accountable for success. We continue to partner with families and draw on the strength of our community. I'm exceedingly proud of the way Fayette County Public Schools employees and families are working together to keep children engaged in learning while in-person classes cannot safely take place. And I'm humbled by the tremendous dedication of the men and women who have volunteered to continue working during this pandemic in order to provide meals for our most vulnerable children and families. Our child nutrition team has prepared and distributed more than 221,000 breakfasts and lunches since our schools closed on March 13th. Our warehouse team has delivered hundreds of meals to the homes of our medically fragile children. And our Family Resource and Youth Service Center coordinators have distributed over 3,100 backpacks of food and household items for families each week. We have also kept our health clinics open and provided mental health services for students and families. Since March 14th, our district mental health professionals have had 18,326 contacts with our students and families. Today, we're excited to announce 2 additional services that we have developed to provide support for our most vulnerable children and families, which will enhance the work our district is doing. Since 2017, more than 30,000 elementary-age students have benefited from the REAL program, which combines the power of community partnership and mentoring with the best practices in literacy. For those of you who are not familiar with this program, REAL stands for Read, Excel, Achieve, Lead, and is done in conjunction with the Scholastic Publishing Company. Scholastic selects age-appropriate, engaging books that celebrate diversity and strong values. And over the course of the school year, volunteers come in once a month to read to a class of students. The readers receive a pre-selected book and mentor packet that includes step-by-step instructions on how to read aloud to students, including discussion questions, and students in the class each receive copies of the book to take home and build their home libraries. In just 3 years, we have been able to put more than 134,000 books into the hands of our students at 32 of our elementary schools. With the extended closure of our schools to help mitigate the spread of COVID-19, our students and mentors are missing these special times together. So next week, we're launching Virtual Real Read. It is my pleasure to introduce our student and family transitional support and dropout prevention specialist, Christian Adair, to tell you more about this exciting initiative. Christian.
Thank you, Manny. The Real Read Initiative has become one of the landmark programs for our district. We're excited to have this innovative approach that will continue to connect our community readers to our students now that their homes are also their classrooms. We know something meaningful happens when volunteers from our community share their love of reading with our students. In order to continue to motivate and engage our students during this social distancing, Real Read is now becoming virtual Real Read. Many of our volunteers that were in the classroom will now record themselves reading aloud in order to provide videos and podcasts of the books that the students have at home. Roman James, our special projects intern, will now explain more about how families can access this cutting-edge technology.
Today, I'm excited to read Looking Like Me. Okay, let's get started. So you should get your book out. Aren't you a writer? Asked my teacher, Miss K.
Quick as a wink, he hid in an empty carton lying on the sidewalk. Wouldn't it be funny if I whistled, Peter thought.
My Uncle Sandy saw us and ran to us. Mama yelled, "Where's Mother?" I yelled, "Where's my grandma?" My Aunt Ida waved.
Couldn't hurt me near as much as his fist had. The bedroom door opened and his mother, Miss Amos, came in. It seemed like she was having a hard time figuring out what was going on.
And that is the end.
Thank you guys for reading with me today.
I encourage you to read along with your family.
Good afternoon. Immediately following this press conference, the Virtual Real Read videos and podcasts will go live at www.fcps.net/realread. These resources are free and available on demand for anyone to use. As part of our district's commitment to becoming a community of readers, we hope everyone will take advantage of this new resource to bring literature to life. During this pandemic, we have all seen how important it is to establish routines so our children have things to look forward to. Storytime is certainly a perfect example of this. Therefore, beginning Monday and continuing throughout the summer, we will broadcast our Virtual Real Read videos every day at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. They will air on Channel 197 for Spectrum customers, Channel 13 for Windstream customers, and Channel 2 for MetroNet customers. The stories will also stream live on our FCPS.net website.
I want to say thank you, Christian and Roman. Now, since we returned from spring break on April 6th, all Fayette County public schools have transitioned to non-traditional instruction, also known as NTI. Each school developed its own plans for how to deliver NTI and worked directly with their students and families. Some schools developed individual packets of work for students, others moved to online instruction, and many provided a blended learning model. Over the past several years, Fayette County Public Schools has strategically invested more than $12 million in reading and math curriculum materials with online components at all grade levels for every school in the district. As part of our commitment to ensuring equity in both access and opportunity, the district has also invested heavily in technology. One-to-one instruction on Chromebooks and laptops was already established in 32 schools, including all middle schools and schools serving a high percentage of children living in poverty, plus the Family Care Center, Audrey Grievous Center, Success Academy, STEAM Academy, Carter G. Woodson Academy, and the Stables. Before any of us imagined COVID-19, our district had roughly 35,000 Chromebooks and laptops available for students to use at home, which allowed us to provide devices for so many students who needed it during this time. But we know that access to hardware is only part of the digital divide. Access to the internet is another barrier for some of our families. And at this time, I'd like to ask Bob Moore, a director of technology, to introduce our answer to this challenge. Bob.
Thank you, Manny. As Superintendent Caulk has often said, we are living in unprecedented times. Because of that, our teachers and staff must work differently than they ever have. Fayette County Public Schools has had tools in place for many years that enabled us to quickly transition to digital learning. The knowledge and skills of our teachers, the systems that were put in place by the technology staff, and the software that was available helped greatly in this transition. from face-to-face instruction to virtual instruction. We have continued to add tools as needed in the past few weeks. While we know nothing takes the place of a teacher in the classroom and the relationships that are built through person-to-person instruction, our teachers are working diligently to make sure that every student can continue to learn at the highest level. However, there are challenges. One of the issues that some families face is lack of devices and lack of internet access. This has been referred to as the digital divide. While we have been moving toward one-to-one instruction for several years, the inequity that exists is simply pushed from the school to the home when a district provides devices for every student. That inequity becomes access to high-speed internet at home. This digital divide widens when the instruction is primarily or entirely online. In order to help our families, schools have been providing devices, primarily Chromebooks, to our students. We will continue to provide devices to any student that needs one. We have also partnered with both AT&T and T-Mobile to provide internet hotspots to some of our most vulnerable students. The technology staff is working with special education staff, student support staff, and Family Resource Center coordinators to identify families that do not have internet access at home. We have also established a call-in help desk to help families that have issues with district technology and need help. We have technicians available from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. That phone number is 381-4410. Again, 381-4410. As always, we will continue to work with our school leaders, teachers, and families to overcome any obstacles that hinder our students. This includes lack of internet access. Today, we have some examples of the types of devices and hotspots that we are providing to our students. And after the press conference, anyone is welcome to see how they would be used by our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. This is a game changer for our students and families. When you look at maps of our community showing where internet access and free Wi-Fi are readily available, you can see that many of our children live in digital deserts, where connectivity is simply missing. We estimated that we would need roughly 2,000 hotspots to address this need, and we're grateful once again to AT&T and T-Mobile for helping us acquire these devices. We already have 600 in hand or in the process of starting distribution. The internet access provided will have all of the same filters that we have in our schools to protect our students. We have initially set them up on a 6-month contract for service and expect the total cost to be right around $250,000 for 2,100 devices. This investment will light up those areas where connectivity is simply currently dark and ensure that our students have a greater chance for success. This pandemic has created different obstacles and barriers for families. Despite the tremendous efforts of our teachers to stay connected with students, NTI was never designed to replace in-person instruction for this long. Even under the best circumstances, when NTI only covers a day or two of missed school, there are limitations to paper packets. Putting hotspots into the hands of students and families who were previously unable to log on and participate in virtual instruction will dramatically increase our ability to help students individually and increase engagement. Governor Beshear has likened COVID-19 to a 100-year event, the kind that transforms a generation. More than anything else, when we are judged for how we handle this challenge, I would like to see our district heralded for compassion and empathy. I want for the children of Fayette County Public Schools what I want for my own children. In 2018, my daughter graduated from Lafayette High School, and I had the tremendous honor of seeing her receive her diploma on stage at Rupp Arena. My son is a member of the class of 2021 of Carter G. Woodson Academy, and my wife and I had already begun to looking ahead to see him graduate. And I can tell you, we can't wait. The more than 2,000 seniors who comprise the class of 2020 deserve no less. So before I ask our Chief of High Schools, Mr. James McMillan, to come up to tell you what we are planning for our seniors this spring, I'm going to go ahead and take a bit of his thunder. If it is at all possible to receive the blessings of the Lexington-Fayette County Health Department and our governor, we hope to hold an in-person graduation for our seniors at some time in the future. We are absolutely committed to following every safety precaution and will not hold an event without permission. But we have placed holds on possible graduation dates at Rupp Arena in July, September, and December of this year, so that if it becomes an option to hold a live graduation ceremony of some type, we have those days available. And now I'd like to invite Ms. McMillan up to share more details.
Thank you, Superintendent Caulk. I want to first start out by saying that the high school and special program principals are a pretty amazing group of leaders, and they have been working collaboratively to try and ensure the class of 2020 is recognized for reaching this milestone in their lives. Each school has already at this moment spoken with their student ambassadors and their senior class leaders so that we could get their input around this important conversation with their graduations. Individual schools and programs have come up already with unique showcases, if you will, for their seniors, and some of you guys have already seen that on the internet, on Facebook and social media, as they have tried to recognize those seniors in those special ways that they can. Our schools have had social media posts, they've delivered yard signs, they've had personal letters written to families and to students, and also followed those up with personal phone calls. We are excited to collaborate and celebrate our seniors in Fayette County this year through a virtual graduation ceremony, and we'll be working alongside the FCPS Creative Media Productions to make this happen through that virtual experience. We're going to do this virtual experience alongside our teachers and principals and the feedback from those senior leaders as we put this together to make it special for that class. More information is going to be coming out to your families of those seniors today, immediately following this press conference, so please look for that. As Superintendent Caulk said a few minutes ago, we have also set aside dates in Rupp Arena in July, September, and December. In the event that we can hold an in-person graduation, I want to reiterate that we've heard our seniors, and we do want to try to make that happen. I know our seniors have been very vocal about that and wanting to have that in-person commencement, and so that is why we have set those dates. The senior class of 2020 will always have a special place in our hearts, for their courage, strength, and ability to relentlessly chase after their dreams and goals during these unprecedented times. Fayette County Public Schools in the city of Lexington, we are calling on you guys to wrap your arms around this senior class, and we want our partnerships with our businesses to help celebrate their accomplishments as well. And we look to announcing some of those things that we're working right now in the near future. With that being said, Superintendent Caulk, thank you so much, and welcome back to the podium.
Thank you, James. And at this time, I'll open the floor to questions related to what we have just shared.
Since these are on a 6-month contract, what does the district anticipate for the fall or the summer and spring? I mean, do you think there's going to still be NTI instruction?
Well, I tell you, I'm not going to sort of predict into the future in terms of this upcoming school year. We have a task force that's looking at what we could expect, but I can tell you in the near term, we're looking to make sure that the families have these devices through the summer as we look to move forward with a summer learning initiative.
With regard to NTI, can you give some of the parents out there some advice on now being a teacher at home?
Well, I tell you, and I'll share this. It's always, as a parent, and you know this, those of you who are parents, you are your child's first teacher. But no one told you that your first student will be the most difficult student to teach, right? They didn't tell you that part. So, as an educator and as a parent, I share in our parents' frustration. I understand what they're going through. I understand what it's like. And, that's why, I'm so proud of our teachers and our school leaders for the constant increased communication with families and the supports that Fayette County Public Schools provide. Our teachers are constantly reaching out, constantly making those contacts to support our families as they support their children in learning. What is also most important as well is the mental health professionals that we have invested in and the work that they're doing. And as I stated, since March 14th, they've made over 18,000 contacts with children and with families. So we have that support system. We know that nothing can take the place of in-class learning. And that's why our core value is that victory is in the classroom. However, we also know that during this unprecedented time, we had to shift gears and do things differently. And in doing things differently, I think one of the unintended consequences, positive outcomes, is we're seeing greater collaboration between our home and school, between our teachers and our families.
You also said you can't predict the future, but are you thinking worst case scenario? What if we don't have school in the fall, and if we don't, do you have a game plan, a playbook for the worst case?
So I tell you, we are developing that game plan and playbook. Certainly, we're going to follow the lead of the Kentucky Department of Education, and also Governor Beshear, as he seeks to reopen the economy and go through the phases in that benchmark system and approach in a deliberate and intentional way that makes sure that we continue to be safe. And so we have, again, a task force that's looking at those issues, going to vet all of those scenarios and begin to move us forward so that we have a game plan, a playbook to move forward in the fall.
My last question, how have you been?
Superintendent, if you will repeat the questions for the viewing audience.
My last question, sir, how have you been dealing with this unprecedented time yourself? There's no playbook for you as superintendent to go to.
So the question is, how have I personally been and professionally dealing with this unprecedented time? What I tell you, I draw the strength from our community, from my colleagues, those present and those that are not present, from the teachers, staff, our classified employees, all 9,000 employees of Fayette County. And as a servant leader, yes, there's no, playbook, if you will, for this. And that's why what I believe is important during this time is that as a servant leader and as a district, what we can show is both compassion and empathy and lead with our hearts. And that's what we've been doing. And hopefully our families, hopefully the community is seeing that. Hopefully during this press conference, that has been exemplified. When we look at the Virtual Real program, and many of you covered when we first announced the Real Men Read program. So being able to do this for families so that they can invite someone into their home at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. to do a read aloud with your child. They can see that exemplified, our compassion and empathy, when you look at us addressing the digital divide with the hotspots. And you can see that you can see our compassion and empathy when you think about graduation. Not only are we going to do the virtual, but I want our class of 2020, our seniors, to know that we heard them loud and clear. They prefer an in-person live graduation. And that's why we're committed to holding those dates at Rupp Arena. So hopefully, if things improve and we can have a gathering larger than that we'll be able to deliver on their expectation. Well, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. Again, the information I have, same information you have. If you look at President Trump and Dr. Fauci, who's sort of a media personality right now, listening to Governor Beshear, and also working with our own local health department. And so, we have those dates again, July, September, December. And we're going to be cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to bring our students in the class of 2020 for in-person graduation. That's being cautiously optimistic, but we also, as what was shared this afternoon, are ready to move forward with a virtual graduation for our seniors at this time.
Is there a date for that?
The date for the virtual.
Yeah.
Another member of the media has asked if we can share a little bit more about what that virtual graduation will look like.
Absolutely. So as far as setting a hardline date, we've not done that yet as a district. I'm working with Ms. Lisa Deffendahl and Robert Lewis, who is over that FCPS media productions, so that we can put something out. We obviously want to put a product out there that the students have said that they want. We want that student feedback. We want to work with our teachers and our principals to make sure that even though we're not in person, what they're viewing is very relative to what would have happened in Rupp to the best we can, because we know that that's important. So we're looking at sometime in June, and again, we'll be able to give you that hard date once we've been able to collect and kind of go through the process with our high schools. As you guys know, we've started this now. I mean, we're having to start this now to do this virtually, and so it's going to be out sometime in June. We're right now going to be collecting pictures from our seniors. And we're going to be we're collecting speeches during that ceremony process. And we're allowing, and this is important, we're allowing our schools to also put that unique touch that goes with their graduations. And if you've been to our graduations, you know that every one of them is different. And that's what makes our schools unique. And we want to make sure that we capture that as well in the virtual graduation ceremonies.
So will that be like one, if it, I mean, would you get the okay to have the in-person graduation? Would it be just one ceremony for the entire class of 2020, or would they be separate?
You know, that's a good question, and I will tell you this. We have a lot of irons in the fire when it comes to celebrating these seniors, and I'm looking forward to some of these things coming to fruition here in the next couple of weeks so that we can announce that and let you guys in on a couple other things that we have specially planned for these seniors. I will tell you that I am cautiously optimistic as well, and so I don't want to say and right now commit to one big graduation ceremony. And if that is something that we are allowed to do, you can rest assured that we're gonna work with our school leaders and our seniors to see what that's going to look like. I think that's the best approach for that.
But you can reinforce that we normally have one ceremony first.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what the virtual graduation will do.
Yeah, we usually have 6 graduation ceremonies with our 6A1 schools and our feeder programs and special programs. Those students who attend and are in those attendance areas, they walk with that A1 school, if you will, that high school that during their graduation ceremony. And I think that's what makes it special. So we're going to wait.
Yes.
So, with, you mentioned 600 hotspots. How many potential students could we reach at that number, and how many at 2,000?
So we have 600 hotspots currently, and we know the need is around 2,000 students. And so we look to continue to purchase up to 2,100 hotspots so that no family and no child goes without.
You don't know how many kids necessarily that's.
It's to,
Each hotspot will
it's
go
to a family. Yes.
But within that family, you might have 2 or 3 kids.
Yeah.
So right now, we have enough for 600 families.
All right. Well, I want to say again, thank you to the members of the media for coming out and covering these exciting announcements, and thanks to my team. All right. Thank you.